When you get right down to it, when you get right down to it.
Good evening and welcome to the Voices of Change only on Intellectual Radio. Today we have a Sister's Day. Hey, why you look? What's wrong? You okay? You just looking straight ahead. Are you stage shy? Do you see the big audience? Don't be scared.
I do. There's so many people out there.
Don't be
I'm
scared.
shy.
Don't be scared.
Okay.
But we're sisters, and today for Real Talk, we're going to talk about shade. It's going to be an exciting, riveting conversation because it's labor. We're supposed to be taking the day off from doing labor, so we're going to talk about something that I think everyone is familiar with.
Or have done.
What do you mean? Throw shade?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Except for my sister Janice.
There you go. Come on. Did y'all hear that? Except for her. Don't really throw shade. But anyway, and let me tell you how this topic came up too. I'll tell you kind of how the topic came up. It's kind of interesting because sometimes people tell you things and you think, is this to my benefit? Are they being honest with me or are they just throwing shade? Now, since I one funny story, since I like wear different hair, different colors. I look at hair as an accessory. Since I decided to go natural, so my edges can come back, I've had a couple tell me, are you kicking it with somebody? What's going on? No. And they're like, well, why would you take off your hair now? See, the problem is when you're wearing wigs and extensions and all that, and if it's doing damage to your hair, what you could do is take it off, condition your hair, and wear your hair. And if you don't, then you're going to further damage it. So I felt like, and I replied, I said, well, if my hair is damaged, this is the only way to restore it. There's no other way. And they said, yeah, but if you keep the pretty hair on and, whoever you find or whoever you meet, you'll be more attractive. I'm like, yeah, but if you ever meet somebody and if they see you with the fake hair, aren't you going to take off your hair anyway? So they'll know. Wouldn't you want them to see the real you anyway?
Remember that movie with Isaac Hayes? I'm going to get you, sucker. Remember that movie?
Oh, she took off everything?
She took off everything.
But, I
scared the man, traumatized the man.
Well, see, here's the thing. I'm an advocate for women enhancing themselves
That's
however
right.
they can.
I
love wigs. I love everything. But I'm also a realist. If you are in a relationship and like a person, shouldn't you take all that off so they'll know how you really are stripped down?
Well, I don't know about all of that, but I know for you, since we're talking about you personally,
yeah.
I've been knowing you all of your life. Since you came out of this world, I've been knowing you. You have all looks.
Right, and I love many looks.
And you love many looks. So you've had it shorter than that.
Before. Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is nothing. I mean.
Yeah, but this is damage short. It's different when you cut it off and you just have it like barely concomitant and then when it's damaged. It's kind of a different kind of, you go through this period. But it's like, okay, so, I mean, it's either do that or keep the hair and keep adding the hair and damage it further. Sometimes you damage it where you can't restore it. It won't.
Well, your reason for damage is damage, but we don't know that in the looking at you. We don't know that. But we do know if any people who know you know that you are a lady of change. You are very creative and you like to look different. That's just you. Me, true. I have sister locks. I look the same way all the time.
I had sister locks because we're sisters.
Sure did. We had them together.
Yeah, I love my sister locks, but it didn't give me enough versatility. I loved them. I did love them. You could wear them up, wear them down. But again, I like wearing the colors, the straight, the long, the short, the curly, whatever. So
it's just your preference.
Yeah, it is. But that's kind of why I wanted to have this show because people have been throwing this slight shade lately. And I kind of wanted to talk more in depth about it.
But like we were talking earlier, it's more than just the look. When people throw shade at a person, which we'll get into later, you have to always be careful of the messenger and what they're actually trying to prevail.
That's true.
Because it could be a lot of hidden. It could be jealousy.
Yeah, it could be a lot of things.
A lot of things. There's so many variables in there.
And the irony is sometimes you're getting this message from people you love. It may be friends or family or people who you hold in high esteem. Stranger.
You know what Daddy used to always say?
What did he say?
The only person that could hurt you is the person that's closest to you.
That's true. And that's who does.
Because it's going to affect you more if I say something
It's true.
Then if some stranger off the street, you wouldn't even care.
No, I've been snapped on.
Right.
Like,
That's what
who
I'm
are you?
saying. Right. Who are you? You don't even know me like
Right.
that.
You don't know
But
me.
when somebody that you know and trust
Right.
say something to
Say
you,
like, why
and
you
you have to
do
step
that?
back because they're triggering something.
Yeah. Well, definitely.
And the answer is, why are they doing that?
So you want to think the best initially, and you think, well, maybe they're trying to tell me because they think it looks horrific. But even if they think that, so what is my head? You know what I mean? Even if they think that, even if they think, it looks, but what value is it going to do? It's not like I'm gonna put something on. It's not like I'm still on this track to get it back healthy, because I had nice, beautiful, healthy hair when I was young. Now I know as you get older,
And we are older.
yeah, as you get older,
At least I am.
the hair changes, but you still want to give it the benefit of the doubt. I got to give a shout out to all of our partners. We have one of our partners is here. Partners GV Entertainment, and I think I mentioned this last week. They finally have a project that's about to start. They're starting actually casting for it, so that's going to be this fall. Another partner is Gray Tax Service, and it will be tax time again. For those who haven't filed, you got a deadline for extensions next month. This is already September. And we also have Oda Enterprises here out of Indy. Tell us about just a little bit about Oda Enterprises.
Well, Oda Enterprises started in 1997. We are 20 some years old, 22, 23 years old. We have been around for a long time, and we started off as a grant writing company because working with so many non-for-profits, money is always in it. And so we started off writing grants. Then we did a little grant training, little grant management, and project management. Currently, we are still writing grants for selective agencies because I'm sort of semi-retired now, and I still have a team of people out there doing a lot of great things. But basically, I'm sort of semi-retired, so I pick and choose who I really want to work with. And so we work with different projects around the Indianapolis community, and we do a lot of program development. We do after-school programs. We have a long-standing contract with Health and Hospital Corporation of Indianapolis. We work with Pathway Resource Center, and we work with their crime bill, and we do all the workforce development training and everything. So we venture off into a lot of different things. We're like, I don't know, I'm telling my age, but we're like Spencer for hire, except for they call us Oda for hire.
Oh my gosh, never ask an entrepreneur what they do. Talk about a 30-second elevator speech. But thank you so much. Now you
You're
all
welcome.
know what Oda Enterprises do.
If you need us, call us.
If you need me, call me. We always start with a scripture. For today, I decided to do something on humility. So we're going to look at Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 through 5. And it goes, do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. Have this mind among yourselves, which is yours in Christ Jesus. That's our scripture for today. We're going to be right back with a few news stories and talk about them, and then get right to our topic, which is Shady Shade.
If I gave you my love, I tell you what I do. I'd expect a whole lot of love out of you. You got to treat me good, and I'll be good to you. There's a whole lot of things you and I could do, baby.
listening to the Voices of Change on Intellectual Radio, and that music you heard in the background, Cynthia, who's visiting from Indy, said, she whispered to me, she said, "Who is that?" And of course, I had to tell her, a friend of Voices of Change, thanks to Dennis, that was Dante Hall. And the song was beautiful. Now for our top news stories. We're just going to do the top. It's so much going on in the news, but we're just going to do some of the top ones. At least 25 people have been shot, 7 of them fatally so far in gun violence across Chicago over the Labor Day holiday weekend, and today is only Sunday. The number of fatal shootings so far has already surpassed the total from last year's Labor Day weekend, when 4 people were killed and 23 others were wounded in citywide shootings on Sunday today. A 15-year-old boy was shot and killed in Austin on the west side. The boy didn't even get to high school. 15, maybe he was, but young. Out of Houston, 7 people were killed and at least 21 others were injured in a brazen daylight drive-by mass shooting in the West Texas city of Midland and Odessa on Saturday, as a gunman drove on the highway and streets, opening fire on residents, motorists, and shoppers. 3 law enforcement officers and a toddler were among those who were wounded before the police shot and killed the gunman, a white male in his mid-30s, near a movie theater on the outskirts of Odessa. The police said the gunman's motives was not immediately clear. How many every weekend? What is this now? Are we, are you being more fearful when you go to public places now? Do you think about someone may pull out a gun and start shooting?
It's a thought, and I think it's this whole gun thing. I mean, I live in Indianapolis, and I hate to read our stats for the weekend because people think Chicago's bad. Well, Indianapolis, every other day somebody's getting shot.
We don't hear that news so much.
We hear the news.
Yeah.
I got to send you some of those statistical data because it's alarming, and it's all with this gun control thing. Is that people think that this is the Wild Wild West or something?
Well, do they think people are going to get back up and start, like on the cartoons?
It's just like, I mean,
they don't care.
And just an example, we had a young couple that had 3 kids, and 15 and 16 years old. Mm. I don't know exactly what what caused the actual, allocation or anything, but there was one, and she took her younger child to the daycare. When she arrived back, her 15 and 16-year-old kids was dead.
The mother took the kids.
They were shot.
Who shot them?
15-year-old boy.
Someone who came to the house?
Yes, and it was in the morning when they were getting ready for school, and it was
he trying to rob them? What was he doing?
It was over a cell phone. All we know. That's all I know. And I remember Consular Jackson, District 14, had a peace march the next day, and the lady, the parents came to the actual peace march.
The one who just lost the
changed
kids?
The whole complexion of the peace march. Pleading to people, talking to people about violence and about how that affects your family. And it was so strong. It was such a strong statement. This happens every day. But you got a 15-year-old kid now who's locked up. He done destroyed one family, destroying his family.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, do people know this is not a video game? They're not going to pop back up. That once somebody's life is taken, it's gone.
Yeah,
it's gone, and I don't know the answer for it. I don't know what I don't know what the remedy is for it. All this violence and all this senseless killings of each other.
And they really haven't talked about this recent one with the young white guy out of Texas. Normally,
no, they haven't.
Normally, they'll kind of break it down. He was a white guy. He shot Hispanics or blacks or whatever, but they haven't really broke down what happened here. At least, I haven't read it yet.
It's too new, probably.
Yeah, but they know the victims.
They do,
and they can see a trend if there is one, or was he just going out just shooting? I don't know. We'll see. It's been a little over 2 weeks since Jay-Z announced his partnership with the NFL, which has caused a great deal of controversy. And now the first move associated with that partnership has already surfaced. According to reports, the rapper will launch a new apparel line called Inspire Change, and to also put on a series of concerts titled Song of the Season. The first concert will be for the league's NFL kickoff experience on September 5th at Grant Park in Chicago.
Grant Park.
And Meek Mill will perform along with Rhapsody, DJ Ferris, and singer Meghan Trainor. Meanwhile,
that's this week.
Proceeds from the apparel line, which is expected to arrive in October, will fund social change programs throughout the United States. The line has been called a new social enterprise model that will support inspire change programs that focus on education, economic empowerment, police and community relations, as well as criminal justice reform. Jay has yet to respond to the criticism he faced since announcing the partnership because many said he shouldn't have accepted it since Colin Kaepernick hasn't played in the NFL since the 2016 season. Ooh, the NFL is really cleaning this up with Jay-Z. They are really cleaning this up.
You know, we have difference of opinions on this, right?
Oh Lord, that was.
So I'm not going to really get into it because that's not our topic for today. But we do have. I admire Jay-Z for not saying nothing because it really is nothing to say. He doesn't owe no one here an explanation as to why he made.
I don't have a problem with Jay-Z getting in bed and making a deal with the NFL. That was not my problem.
What's your problem?
My problem was when he dismissed the work that Cap did. When he said, we've moved beyond that.
Well, that's because we have, and I didn't take it like you took it, like he dismissed what he had done.
He did dismiss
I think what he dismissed is the fact that we got to do more than march. It's time for action now. You got to get at the table.
He's at the table.
And he's at the table.
It is action, and it's going to line his pockets for generations.
And it should.
Every deal that you do should.
Everything that that's part of our subject today too. Everybody does something for something.
Oh, here we go.
So, I mean,
So he's doing something to line his pockets.
Yeah. But also to help mankind. Because the proceeds from this is going towards social programs. Much needed social program.
This is something that your company does. You write script for organizations and make it sound real pretty, and they made this sound really good. I mean, they're boosting the NFL to be really change agents for everything going on today.
This is not the NFL. This is Jay-Z's line that he's selling.
He's partnering with who?
But no. Looking at Jay-Z's line that he's selling is going towards education, economic empowerment, police, and community relations.
I get that.
As well as other criminal justice reform programs.
Again.
That's what we need.
Again, they're cleaning it up. What they did was they literally blackballed one person, the person who didn't shoot anybody, didn't slap anybody, didn't hit anybody. All he did during the anthem was take a knee. They would rather probably see someone probably slap someone or shoot someone than someone take a knee. So he took a knee. He got blackballed. Yes, he did sue. He did sue because it was so wrong in so many ways. But then he's still not playing.
Well, you remember Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan?
Oh my gosh, what an analogy!
And Mr. Spock was dying.
Okay.
He got radiation poison. He was dying. And he told Captain Kirk that sometime you have to sacrifice.
I know what you're going to say now. So he's sacrificing Cap to line his pockets and for the better good.
It's not to line his pockets. Sometimes the good of the many outweigh the good of the few.
Speaking of the good of the man, it's a great segue to talk about our budget for the city of Chicago. I'm not going to. I think he's cleaning up the NFL tainted reputation. And he's doing it in a big way.
Well, we need a quarterback in Indianapolis.
He's starting here. Who's your coach?
I forgot our coach's name, but Luck quit, and so Cab, you need to maybe give him a call.
He can't even get a tryout. But anyway, here we go with the 2020 budget. And if you guys continue watching Intellectual Radio, you'll listen to the show after us, and they grade the mayor every week. Oh, it's
Lightfoot.
Yes. Mayor Lori Lightfoot offered Chicago taxpayers a forecast for the city's finances on Thursday, a staggering large 2020 budget deficit of a whopping $838 million. Lightfoot declared state lawmakers must step in to help Chicago solve challenges that include overhauling the tax structure for a planned city casino and finding new tax proceeds from the sale of high-dollar properties. 1/3 of the city's budget gap comes from pension, Lightfoot said. She said another third comes from increased labor costs, though she didn't identify a specific figure. The city must negotiate a new contract with the Fraternal Order of Police the union representing rank and file Chicago police officers. Lightfoot also needs to land contracts with police supervisors as well as firefighters. Nearly 100 million more is needed to service the city debt, Lightfoot said, while another 100 million is needed to pay a variety of other costs. Meanwhile, Lightfoot said anticipated lawsuits will cost another 90 million. So she's going to explore everything. She's not going to leave anything unturned. She wants to close this gap. She also could explore the city fines and fees, so she's proposed changes to the program she calls an addiction. What they're afraid of, and what she's afraid of, and all politicians are afraid of, is adding more taxes on corporations. Because, when you tax them higher, they run out of the city. They run out of the city. There's jobs that are gone. But the taxing system for these large companies, it's not equitable. But I don't know if that's on the table. I don't know. I don't know what everything I'm sure it is, but they don't want to tax these large companies because they don't want to spook them and have them leave the city, which puts us so where's it going to be? On the backs of the working people? This is a huge gap. This is a huge
But remember,
gap.
she inherited that gap.
No, I'm not. No. I voted for Lori Lightfoot. She absolutely did inherit the gap. In fact, she started out her speech saying that her office has figured out a way to reduce 200 million. So it would have been over $1 billion. So, when you look at it like that, but 888 million.
That's a lot of.
That's a lot of, but it's not just Chicago. All cities are struggling. They're all struggling, and everyone always wants to, go and hit. Well, let's jump on the property taxes. Let's do this. Let's do that. There's a whole lot of things that they need. I had a horrific weekend. I have never had a car that's been like 3 or 4 years old. So this year, I had a car that I had to get an emissions test. So I didn't know I had to get an emissions test because I never had a car. Anyway, so I went to get the little sticker thing, and they told me, "Oh, you got to get an emissions test." And I'm like, "Okay, so give me the addresses." None of the addresses are in Chicago. I had to go. The closest one was Bedford Park, which is out of Chicago.
Yeah, out of Chicago.
Why don't they have some of the? And it was the lines. Yeah, I waited till the last minute. Yeah, it was. Should have done it 3 months ago had I known or thought about it or called. But it was a daunting experience. And why don't they have that in the city of Chicago? Is it too expensive? I'm sure people wouldn't mind paying. People who work, the only day you can go is Saturday because it closed by what, 5 or 6 o'clock. You can't make it up. It's anyway. Doria,
You sound like President Trump.
What?
He says.
Wait. Of all the, I almost said something.
Well, no, because you said
no.
Only because you said people wouldn't mind paying the little extra money to to have it.
I don't. I wouldn't.
Your president said that.
Your president
said that people wouldn't mind. People don't mind paying higher taxes because we're all making money. We all got all this money.
No. I'm not talking about higher tax. See, now that's not apples and oranges. That's not even apples and grapefruits. How can you?
It was a metaphor.
When I'm talking about a small fee, I'm talking about like $2 a car. I'm not talking about something like taxes. I'm not talking about that. We're already taxed enough. Illinois is one of the highest tax states in the nation.
So what's the remedy for this budget? If she doesn't, what's the remedy for that?
It'd be difficult for anybody, even a seasoned budgeteer, to just look at this and go, okay, the city can do this, and this, and cut out $838 million. Are you serious? This is something that she's going to have a think tank for. And whatever they opt to do, they really have to stick with it. And it's whatever they do, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be. She's already, from what I understand, stopped all of the open positions at the city of Chicago. So they may have a whole bunch of open positions. They're closed down because she's thinking of quick hits that has minimal impact, which is a smart way to go. Typically, when people think about cutting budgets, they think about, now what can I cut that's going to get the most fat off? So her strategy is, in my mind, she's taken the right strategy, but they're going to have a think tank.
So what about the casinos bit? Because I read
the casinos and the marijuana. Yeah, absolutely. Right. But the casino thing, we have to get the nod from Springfield for the casino. And with the marijuana, yeah, there should be tax revenue from both of those streams.
That's right.
Which would offset it. But again, we have to all work together, because if Chicago's going down, it's going to have a
It's gonna-
peripheral effect
Yes, it is.
on other areas, other suburbs,
Other areas,
and
other
Springfield,
cities, other states.
other cities. Because what she said, and I had to laugh, because what she said is that casino would take, I forgot how much money from Indiana, because now all we're doing is driving down the street and going to Indiana casinos. We don't have one here in Chicago.
Right.
So why are you giving that revenue to them? But on the other hand, I understand why some people feel that casinos, I personally think that we should have one here.
I do too.
So
like I think Indianapolis should have a casino.
Like the marijuana, that's a whole nother topic. But we're not going to talk about that right now.
And that's legal here. Am I correct?
It will be in January.
That's what I thought. Yes.
Mm.
Is that recreational or medical?
Both.
That's another whole.
That's a whole. That's a whole. That's a whole show. Dorian inched west in the National Hurricane Center's latest advisory. As of 8 p.m. Saturday, Hurricane Dorian was still moving west at just 8 miles per hour per the National Hurricane Center's updated advisory. At that time, the storm remained a Cat 4 with maximum sustained winds of 150. Now, I read somewhere it got up to 167, so it's a Cat 5. But this thing keeps morphing and moving, and because initially it was supposed to hit Florida,
right?
And now it's the Carolinas, Georgia. Some fluctuations in intensity are likely, the Hurricane Center says, but Dorian is expected to remain a powerful hurricane during the next few days. We'll just have to see. Hopefully, it'll go in the water and disappear somewhere. But it doesn't look like it. And the last story, which is a good news story, Jeopardy host Alex Trebek is back at work hosting the popular TV game show. In a video Twitter post, the 79-year-old Trebek says it's going to be a good year following chemo treatment for cancer. The announcement comes just 5 months after Trebek revealed that he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer, declaring, "I'm going to fight this." A couple of months later, he said he was doing so well, it was mind-boggling. "I've gone through a lot of chemo, and thankfully that it's now over," Trebek said in a video released by his show's producers on Thursday. "I'm on the mend, and that's all I can hope for right now." We wish him the best, all the best, and continued favor. We also hope for all those, we recently lost someone from cancer, and it happened so quickly. We hope that they actually do what they need to be done. And if there is a cure, which you hear all these different things, if there is a cure, we know how much Big Pharma is making from it. We hear about doctors who say people have cancer and they don't, and they're going through rounds of chemo because they're getting kickbacks. We're looking for a cure for this horrific disease. It's impacting so many people at such a rapid rate. We're praying for a cure for this. And that's the news you can use only on the Voice of Change. We'll be right back in a few minutes with our discussion on shade.
I'm tripping out over you, baby, over you, girl, yeah. I'm tripping out over you, baby, over you, girl, yeah. Each day I'm not with you is like a day without sunshine. I'm hung up on you, babe. You become a part of me. You're not like other girls, or is it my imagination? This pounding in my heart is all because of you. You got me tripping out over you, mama. Oh, tripping out over you. Yeah. Tripping out over you, girl. Yeah. Tripping out over you. Oh, now let me be your slave. Oh, I have learned to worship you. I'll do anything you say, anything you want me to. Ooh, to me, you are my queen, and I'm your knight in shining armor, standing guard over our love, the love you give to me.
For those of you tuning in, you're listening to the Voices of Change on Intellectual Radio. It can be reached at www.intellectualradio.com. And my name is Janice.
And my name is Cynthia.
And guess what we're going to be talking about now? Sisters are going to talk about shade. Oh, wait. Before that, she wanted to give a plug to one of her many organizations. You don't hear me plugging. Anyway, go on.
This is the 25th anniversary of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women Indianapolis chapter, Gourmet Gents. And we are about to have an event that's going to lift Indianapolis off the roof. Our 25th Gourmet Gents is going to be at 502 Event Place, 502 Carmel Drive on September the 7th. If you haven't got your tickets yet, we're sold out.
What?
We are sold out.
You got my ticket, though, right?
Yes, I think.
Wait,
I just want to tell the community, I just want to tell Chicago, Chi-Time, and all the people that's in Indianapolis that's listening to this, we are going to rock. This program helps supports the coalitions and as many activities as it pertains to women and children. And we're going to do things like the Academy for Girls. We work with Sister Namas, which is our economic empowerment program. We work with education. We work with health. We do an awesome job I think we have 46 members that's currently active in our chapter in Indianapolis. We are very, 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 very proud. We have a lot of young people who are doing some great things. And this is my last year as presidency. Matter of fact, it's over as of November. And I'm going to be happy to pass that ham over to somebody that's going to really be energetic and really get out there and push the agenda of Black women.
Okay, since people are plugging, I just have to plug for the West Side because most of you know that I've been talking about it for the past couple of years. A West Side Expanded Mental Health Initiative where we're going to have a mental health center.
Which is needed.
Everyone knows that they've closed so many centers in the city. Well, it's been long coming, but we finally do have our mental health center on the West Side. It'll be on Harrison and everyone in the areas. There's 4 designated areas: East Garfield Park, East Garfield Park, West Garfield Park, North Lawndale, and the near West Side. They're able to go if they have insurance. It doesn't matter. They can go if they need help. It's for early intervention. This place will be open. We look forward to breaking ground, which will be really next month in October. And it is a beautiful facility. It was for the people, by the people. The people voted for it with a referendum. They voted, like your president said, they voted for a self-imposed tax so they can have this mental health center because they saw the need for it in those designated areas. I am so proud of it. And like her, I'm the chairman of the governing board. Had to give a plug. Okay. Speaking
and
of,
also on that, we went by there yesterday. It's a beautiful building. It's over 6,000 square footage. It's going to be awesome.
It is.
And Janice, I am so proud of you. Because it was a battle. I mean,
3 years.
It was 3 years in the making, and the West Side should be forever indebted to you and the commissioners that actually helped make this thing a reality.
And the people like
That's
Jackie
right.
and the people with
That's
the mental
right.
health. Yeah,
That's
they knocked on doors. It was 3 years in the making. But man, I cannot wait till the doors open and I'll have people here to talk about that too. So since you were talking.
It's good. It's good.
Now we're going to talk about shade. Oh, man. Okay. So shade, by definition, is acting in a casual or disrespectful manner towards someone or dissing a friend. The interesting thing is sometimes this is a friend or an acquaintance, and sometimes it's often less obvious. They do it kind of on the sly as if, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Why do you think people throw shade? And why does it happen all the time? Sometimes when it happens, you're almost checking yourself thinking, did she just do that to me? Why is she saying that? Why do you think people do that?
I, it's a variety of reasons. I think that the number one reason is that people are trying to shock you, put you into shock value. They're trying to trigger something.
And they want to trigger me to throw me off my game or
Well,
to.
it definitely throws you off your
Yeah,
game
yeah,
because
yeah,
you're thinking about it.
yeah.
And anytime somebody does something to make you think negatively,
Hmm.
it's throwing you off your game.
True.
Whether you think it is or not, it's still throwing you off your game. And that's the effect that they want.
Do you think that people do it? They put other people down to build themselves up?
Definitely.
Because sometimes people, I don't know, they may. You even mentioned jealousy and different things like that. I think a lot of times people do it because. And have you ever noticed? Oh, let me finish that thought. People do it because people want to make themselves look bigger, so they're making you look smaller. But in all actuality, that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening.
Well, I think also a lot of things that take place with human reaction is the fact that we really don't know who like us and who really don't like us.
And that's
I mean,
interesting.
that's
That's interesting because there was an actual study done. I think I called you when I read about it
Mhm.
because I've always kind of thought this. There was a study done and said that, people who we consider our friends, people in our circle, most of them don't like you.
Yeah, but and I'm sure if they don't like you, it's the old parable that people always go around and say. It's like, I want you to do good, but not as good as I am.
Now, you know what? And
Think about that.
you
I
are
mean,
so right. And why would people do? I guess I want people to excel and do it as well as they can.
that's right.
If that's better than me, fine. Then I can say my friend is doing this, and my friend or my whatever's doing this. But you're right. People do want you to get. They want you to get some success, but they don't want you to
That's right.
surpass them.
Because it's that jealousy that kicks in. And and it's like we were actually talking. I think for me, I'm a very confident person. And so people throw shade all the time. And most people I don't even, because I don't have that many people in my circle, in
Hmm.
my inner circle that I
Hmm.
actually listen to. That's only because I come from such a huge family, and I have my five sisters who I'm very close to, and I also have a core of friends, not that many,
Hmm.
that I actually listen to. But the key is that when you have all these, like you're in a sorority, you're
Don't what?
in that sorority,
What does that mean?
and you have all these sisters, and sisters, and love and joy and all of that. All those women don't like you.
Oh no, you didn't. Wait, wait,
No,
wait.
I mean,
What?
I'm
Why?
serious.
Why'd you pick my sorority?
No,
Why'd you say
no, it's
me?
not just your sorority. It's, I mean, I'm not talking about the AKAs. I'm talking about, oh, did I say that? I'm sorry. I'm talking about, Deltas, the Sigmas, regardless of
Yeah,
what,
yeah,
you have all these beautiful, beautiful Black women.
yeah.
And, and if you don't have confidence in yourself and who you are, people will mess you up every single time
That is true.
because
We
you got to
don't.
know what you're doing. I don't know what's inside your head, but I know
That's
what
true.
triggers your head.
Yeah, because you're close to me. So
But you
you,
understand what I'm
yeah,
saying now.
yeah.
And
That
so,
is true.
people throw shade at you, and you're saying, why
Like,
would
why
they?
they do that?
Why would they do that? They got you.
People, women, and I'm just speaking women on women now. We don't uplift each other. I see it more now in Atlanta. When I went to Atlanta, and the first time I heard it so often, I was like, "Who is she talking to?" We're walking through the hotel lobby, and these beautiful Black women were walking past, and they say, "Hello, queens. Hey, queens. Hey, queens." And I'm like, "We're talking."
Because you don't hear that.
Because you don't
Right.
hear
You
it.
don't hear that.
But
Right.
it was refreshing. We don't lift each other up. But now there's groups, even on Facebook, there's groups of women that lift each other up, and I see it as a positive thing. Us doing more of that. But I hear and see so much. You see shade on the workplace. You hear shade even within businesses,
Hmm.
competing business. I kind of understand that because if you're competing, if I'm in the same line of business you're in, I'm not saying it's right, I don't do it, but if I'm in the same line of business you're in, maybe I kind of, for the same reason that one-on-one individuals would do it, maybe I'm trying to minimize the competition. So if I throw shade, there's doubt, maybe you'll have less business and I'll have more. This is for the same reason that individuals do it, but it isn't right. It's counterproductive. And in the long run, it isn't making you look
Well,
any
you're
better
talking
either.
to an entrepreneur,
I know I
and
am.
that's been what people have done to me forever.
Yeah.
forever and ever and ever. And I keep on saying there's enough for all of us though.
Yeah, exactly.
And only because of my spirit, I have never withheld things, and I've never like tried to keep people back because I want to achieve, because I didn't have to go. And I think for some people they go that route. So the only way that they can contain you
Insecurity,
is
insecurity.
by throwing that shade, and then they contain you
Mhm.
because they got you. Because I don't care who you are, I don't care how strong you are. When people say things and do things that are mean and just off the cuff, it throws you off.
Because you didn't expect it. It's
You
like,
didn't expect
what
it.
is that? Where's it
And
coming
it
from?
could be your own family.
It could be your friends,
It could be your
people
friends. That's
close
what
to
I'm
you. Yeah,
right.
and that's what really hurts.
It's like Hot used to say, our father, he used to always say, the only person can hurt you is the person closest to you.
And that is, well, they're the ones who would know.
Because you got to always remember the messenger. What motive does this person have to tell me this?
And that's what I'm always thinking. When someone says something that I'm kind of looking like, why are they doing that? And I thought this is and you have to think about that. Let's talk about ways to deal with haters. We're going to talk about a few ways how you deal with haters if you find yourself in a situation. First of all, particularly for people like me with a mouth like mine, sometimes
In mine.
and yours, yeah. First of all, it says take a deep breath. When you hear something really out the box, see, normally people don't do it that obvious. Normally it's something, where it's kind of sneaky, where they, oh, I didn't mean that. But
Oh no, they do it obvious if it's affecting you.
you think so?
Oh yeah.
Well, I think sometimes they don't, because sometimes when you go home and you think, hmm, what does she mean by that? So it's not as obvious, and sometimes it is very obvious, where they were saying, for instance, girl, why would you cut your hair? Like, why would you look like that? How you going out? That's obvious. That's obvious because that's obvious. But sometimes, so first of all, take a
That
deep
hair
breath.
is really getting to you, huh?
Well, because I've always had different kind of hair, so to have, yeah,
But I'm just here to tell you that hair looks absolutely gorgeous on you. Matter of fact, I'm used to seeing it a lot shorter than that.
that because I used to
That's how
cut it
you
shorter.
normally you cut it. You normally have
Well,
it.
I cut it down where I don't comb
Right,
it,
right.
but the difference this time is it's damaged.
I understand
You know
that,
what
but
I'm
what I'm
saying?
saying is that we don't. The world doesn't know. Well, they do now, but
Well,
the
it
world
doesn't
doesn't know
matter
that.
because, yeah, well,
Right.
yeah. Anyway, so first of all, take a deep breath. Now, if it was someone who I didn't know, or someone who had just saw me walking past, or someone on the elevator, then I would just snap something up real. But because it's someone who I knew, and it's like, mm,
Well, I remember when a little thing about taking a deep breath, and I think that's very. You have to do that. I remember when the last time that I remember being shaded was at a party. Remember, I told you about this, and my brother threw a shade at me.
oh my gosh,
And I'm sitting there, I had to look at him. And if I didn't take a deep breath and just breathe, I would have probably gone off and unnecessarily.
I'd have
But it's
cursed him out.
but
I'm
but it
sorry.
affects me to this day because that was my brother.
Yeah, that.
And I don't think he meant any harm, but
How could? Okay, see, now that I don't agree with. When persons show you how you are, you have to
that's true.
believe
You
it.
always have said that. That's true.
That's. How could you not?
I know. I
Mm.
know.
The second thing was keep your composure, and you did that.
I did.
I sometimes have a hard time doing of keeping composure, particularly when someone catches me off guard. Although I don't ever recommend entertaining negativity, if you do feel the need to compose yourself and your thoughts first, that's what you need to do. Sometimes you don't have to even think about it. You naturally do that because that's naturally how you are. The next thing is stay objective. Remember that everyone has an opinion, and occasionally you'll run across someone whose opinion drastically differ from yours.
But it's different than somebody having a different opinion than somebody throwing shade at you.
Well,
To me, there's a big difference in that.
maybe not. Maybe someone saying your shirt's too tight because they may think it really is too tight, but you think it fits fine. That's their opinion, right? Or is that shade because I don't know. I'm just asking. I don't know.
Oh, I must throw shade a lot then.
Oh, the next one is respond constructively and positively. That's hard. It goes back to the old be the bigger person mindset that Michelle Obama. They go low, we go high. Plus, responding brashly will only fuel the negativity and potentially incite an argument. Yeah. Then it says it's not
But
classy. Yeah, it's not.
but
Okay.
I think that really depends on who it is.
Okay.
Some people could throw shade and you just look at them like, let me leave before I really cuss this person out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other people could throw shade and you might find that you have to respond right then and there. It really depends on the circumstances. There's so many variables.
It does.
You
It
know what I'm
does.
saying? That, I don't know. That's a little different.
Then the next one says to a friend, give it insight on the topic. Better to vent your rant to them than attacking the person back.
Well, yeah, and I tried to talk with you about this and you told me I should have, so that didn't work.
Well, because okay, I'll be honest, I give you bad advice. That was bad advice. I'd have cussed his ass. Oops.
Oh, Janice. Excuse her.
Sorry. I would have where he went.
Benny,
I gave you bad advice. What you should have done was what you did. You take a deep breath, keep your composure, but you got to treat a person the way you know them to be. And I'm gonna leave that right there.
No, that's true.
Leave
You're
that
right.
right there.
You're right.
The next one is being encouraged to share even more positive and helpful things that you already do. Why? I don't agree with this one, because if a person's throwing shade at me, more than likely they don't particularly care for me, or they're trying to hurt me, or they're trying to pull me down. People.
I don't think so. Though.
I do. I
think that think that when a person throws shade at you, I think that sometimes they could even admire you.
Huh? No.
No, I'm serious.
Okay.
But that's the only way that they could communicate.
By throwing shade.
Because it makes them feel better. It pulls them up. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, that looks awful on you, or girl, what you doing to your hair? Or girl, I mean that makes them feel better. I'm telling you, it's the.
For those of you who are so inclined to call in, we have a few minutes left in the show. You can call in at 708-223-8953. 708-223-8953. Today we have the big kahuna in. Miss Wanda isn't here today. So we have the other Winfrey here. So if you're so inclined to call, please do that. Be encouraged to share even more positive and helpful things. You're putting it out in the universe, which means that it will reach someone. This helps to combat the negative effect and could be just a thing to uplift someone and push them in the direction of meeting their goals and their dreams. Don't know about that. Someone throws shade and you're going to, well, I guess you're right.
You can turn it around, yes.
Okay, so throw some shade at me and I'm going to say something very positive to you. Come on. We're going to role play. Come on.
I don't have any shade to throw at you.
Oh, just make up some shade to throw at me. Come
on. Janice, you I don't know. Throw some shade at me and I'll throw it back positive.
Okay, you got a gap in your teeth.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to it's my sexy gap.
Okay. Or you can push it back on them and say, you know what? Yeah, I do have a gap. I always wanted to have teeth like yours, but you got buck teeth, helpful. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
I call that my sexy gap. I got it right, and it's on the side.
You know what? We're not gonna go. We're not gonna go any further because this can go way.
That's right. It could go too deep.
Okay, take it as a learning experience. Sometimes we encounter things to teach us a lesson. Very few things we experience in life are truly random. When we experience negative or bad things, there's always the option to come out of the other side a stronger and better version of yourselves. We experience things to teach us, and therefore we can pass on more knowledge to others. Yeah, you can take it as teaching.
And I think the reason for that is the fact that when people throw shade at you, the only positive thing about shade is that that's really how they feel.
Yeah.
So if they feel like that, probably other people feel like that also. So you make a choice. Should I look at what they're saying and maybe work on it? Or should I that's me and just let it go?
That's true.
People tell me all the time, Cynthia, you're too loud, you're too this and you're too that. Everything they say is true.
Well, they tell me I'm loud, and I am loud. My mouth is horrible, and
that's what I'm saying. Everything they say,
Cynthia,
you're nasty, you're this, you're that. Everything they say is true.
Yeah.
Now I got choices in life. I don't take that as negative. Now, unless I'm in some 6'6" good looking guy's face.
You know
And
what?
then somebody's getting in my face telling me, girl, this and then I might snap on them. But what I'm saying is that
You like them tall men, don't you?
yeah, I do. All shade is not bad because
Mm.
because no, it's not. It's the circumstances that it's given that
Okay.
makes it bad.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because people pick the opportune time to throw that at you.
Well, if you're going to throw it publicly in a big
That's
audience, if you're going to try to,
exactly.
then you're
That,
yeah,
that's what I'm trying to
yeah.
say.
But if it's like one on one, and then I think, well, maybe they're trying to, I don't know.
But the key is that I'm still me. Unapologetically, my name is Cynthia Renee Oda,
Here we
and I
go.
am who I am.
But it doesn't hurt to always be a work in
That's
progress,
exactly it.
because I'm
That's
always
exactly
working
it.
on myself. I mean, I don't need to cuss
Right.
like I cuss. It's just ridiculous. I'm in church like every Sunday and sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. And you do cuss a lot. I could throw shade. You girl, you do cuss a lot.
I know. I wish I was more controlled like you are. Thanks.
Well, that's the wrong example.
And the last one is surround yourself with positive people. Being around people who support us and bring us help to combat even more against those negative feelings that people throwing shade try to evoke. They also keep us encouraged and motivated to keep our goals.
Now that I agree with.
I do stay around positive people, and sometimes people who you think are positive, I treat people by what they show me.
Well, all I know is that I've in my long years of life, I have been truly blessed because I surround myself. I don't like negative people.
I don't either.
I don't like to be around. It's like they carry a dark cast over them. Always drama, always something. I don't have time for
I
that.
don't be with that time either. Not
I
at
don't
all.
have time
No,
for that.
I don't. I
So I think
definitely
that
try
is
not.
really true. If
That's
you
true.
surround yourself around people that are positive and people that are working towards goals and stuff, that might and still you might get some shade thrown at you though. Don't be fooled.
Well, yeah, you can get it from anybody,
Hmm.
So we're going to take a quick break right now. Then we're going to come back and wrap this show up. You're listening to the Voices of Change on Intellectual Radio. We'll be right back.
Once there was a boy and girl. Boy said, I love you so. Girl said, I'll never leave you. They grew older and left each other. 'Cause that's the way love goes. That's the way love goes. And there's a time, seems like you'll never find someone willing to love you. Keep on looking, you soon discover.
Hey, for those just tuning in, this is the Voices of Change on Intellectual Radio, which can be reached at www.intellectualradio.com. We're talking about shade and throwing shade and why people throw shade and ways to offset it. Now we're going to talk about, because we only got a few minutes left, we're going to go through making a connection without being used. I think everyone has a fear of being exploited. Now, you told me, you said, Jan, look, it's only 24 hours in a day. If I have an associate, I'm exploiting them and they're exploiting me. They have to be able to do something for me to want to be around them, and I should add value to them for vice versa. And I took that and I'm like, you are such a what you are. I did. Because I thought, okay, so everybody who you interact with, you're exploiting them and they're exploiting you. He said it's mutual exploitation, much like a marriage. But let's talk about making a connection without being used. First of all, the first thing it says is be people discerning. Shady people tend to be evasive, not upfront about their intentions, and inconsistent in their actions and words. You get better at sizing people up the more you socialize. So if you don't socialize too much, if you're not really out there, it's going to be hard for you to discern who's shady. But once you've been out there and socialize and kind of meet a few shady ones, you can kind of tell you can kind of tell through conversation who's shady. You got to be people discerning. The second one is do not give the benefit of the doubt, though. Always assume the best of others until proven otherwise. Now, we came from a school that said
Your
positive.
father, he's
This is positive though. Third is remove people who have abused your kindness before. Amen. Once bitten, twice shy. Third time. Well, you don't want there to be a third time. If someone, ooh, I'm not talking to you. Remove people who have abused your kindness before. They've abused your kindness. Remove them. I agree. Give
but
what you.
that's easier said than done.
It's much easier said than done.
Because it's
If someone has taken advantage of your goodwill before, it says 86 them.
well, that's easy when it's just an associate, but when it's somebody that you love,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's where
I
it
know where
gets
you're
sort of
going. Well,
foggy at.
you can't eliminate them from your lives,
Yeah.
obviously. So you just have to handle them different.
And Janice, I'm not saying cut them.
Well, you know what? I don't cut relatives. Oh well. Anyway, give what you are ready to give. Be there for others and give them what you can as your natural self. This way, it doesn't matter if they subtly take advantage of you. Whatever you have given would be something you were ready and okay to give, and hence not incurred as a loss. Simply take it as a gift of kindness to someone who needed it more than you. Give what you are ready to give. I know when I was growing up, they always told me don't lend any money to anybody unless you had the money to give. If you could give this money and you wouldn't miss it and it wouldn't mean anything other than that, don't loan people money.
And I think that's true, but I think along with that is it's not that a person could pay you back or not or like that. I think it's just the matter if I loan you $1, and if you're saying that you're going to give me $1 back next week,
Mhm.
then if you can't give it back next week, just tell me that. I'll probably say, hey, cool, don't worry about it.
No, that's another thing where you say if they bite you once,
That's
then
right.
you don't deal with them like that. Two more points is surround yourself with good people. We talked about that. The last point is forgive and don't forget. People don't have short memories. Don't have forgive, but don't forget.
That's right.
We got to wrap up. We'll be back next week at 6 o'clock at the same time. Unfortunately,
It's
Cynthia
over.
won't be here with me, but I'll be here next week. Go out and live your best life and have a great week.
Bye.